everyone. I have finally been able to go live. Everything was worrying for a little while then because my connection apparently wasn't strong enough. But here I am. Just wanted to go live this time with a bit of warning, I guess. So you would have seen a couple of posts during the week about going live to answer any questions you might have regarding travel or healthy travel or my packing, things that I've packed, because I did a packing blog a little while ago and I had a few questions about that. So I thought I might get started in terms of what things I've packed and what things I really didn't need to pack, what things I wish I had, a little bit of advice about that. And then if you've got any questions, please just comment on this video and ask me anything you want regarding anything, basically travel or packing or healthy or nutrition or recipes. Happy to answer any questions. I'm here in Parma in Italy in my apartment. I was considering heading out to do this live interview or live broadcast. I don't know what you really call it, but certainly my 3G mobile connection is not strong enough to do it outside. Anyway, so I'll get to talking a little bit about packing. So a couple of questions I had after I did my blog post about the packing guide was, what stuff do I wish I didn't pack? What did I pack that was too much? And certainly I packed too many clothes. So just things like I packed too many long pants. I didn't really need to bring as many long pants and jeans as I did, and I've since kind of culled a few things. Underwear, bought too much underwear. You know, you don't think about things like washing, even if you just, like for your undies and your bras and stuff, just wash them in the shower when you're having a shower, and then just hang them out to dry, and then you only need, you know, maybe 3 or 4 pairs of underwear, give you a couple of days grace to take with you. I mean, for me, I'm traveling for a long time, so I need to have clothes that are going to be suitable for European winter as well as Italian summer. It's 33 degrees outside today, so I need to be a bit smarter as well about what I'm packing. So I've kind of culled it down to 2 pairs of jeans and 2 pairs of tights. So tights, one for working out and one for wearing around town, because I can also wear those underneath the jeans if it's extra cold. And then layers in terms of the top layers. So a couple of t-shirts and then a couple of long sleeve cotton shirts, and then 1 or 2 like thicker fleecier type tops. You got a vest in there as well, which is really useful, like one of those these Kathmandu down vests, and then a jacket as well. So a scarf if you need one in terms of winter clothes, depending where you're going. Of course, this is totally dependent on where you're planning to travel and for how long. And then in terms of the summer stuff, you got I've got like one dress, which is like what I'm wearing today. It's kind of a long thing, and this packs up really small, and it's nice. You can kind of dress it up and wear it out to dinner, but it's also easy to wear around. I've got a shorter dress as well, and then a pair of shorts and a couple of tops. Pretty simple. Did anyone have any questions they want to ask about packing or anything like that that they might want to ask? If you just comment on the video, then you'll be able to just ask me any questions and I can see them come up. In terms of like toiletry stuff, coconut oil, as much as people talk about it and all its amazing uses, it is really useful and versatile. So I am using coconut oil as my moisturizer for face and body. So, you know, it cuts out a whole bunch of stuff that you really need to take along. It's also an awesome makeup remover. You can also use it to clean as well if you need to. And then, you know, you can eat it too, putting it in a few things. So, can't see any questions, so I'll just kind of keep talking. Simple things like to cut down on space, like a 2-in-1 shampoo instead of a shampoo and a conditioner. Just like kind of stuff that you don't really, maybe you don't think of all the time, but they're just useful. And so I've got someone here saying I'm thinking of bringing a little bag of laundry powder. So I guess it depends kind of the type of travel you're doing, whether you need to bring laundry powder or not. So for me, I've had the fortune of doing lots of house sitting, so there's always been laundry powder and things like that available. It might be worth bringing if you're not sure, but if you want to wash things in the basin with some laundry powder, and then you don't have to buy a big one when you're over here. But at the same time, if you know you're going to be in a couple of places in between that will definitely have washing machines and washing powder already there, then you can kind of save up your big washes for there. But yeah, certainly a little, like a Ziploc bag of laundry powder would definitely be useful, but it's not something I've brought with me for my travel, and I've certainly been fine. And you can buy laundry powder everywhere, at least in Europe you can. Rest in terms of other toiletry type stuff, toothbrush, toothpaste, kind of essential. I've got a loofah, which is just a handy little thing to help. If you're a woman, you probably know what a loofah is, but it's one of those fluffy things that you use in the shower, and I find that really useful to wash with. Handful of band-aids. Depending where you're going, you might want to bring a little travel-sized insect repellent and sunscreen as well. A comb, bit of natural deodorant. One thing to bring a few, especially if you bought some new shoes for travel, is a handful of blister patches. So I bought 2 new pairs of shoes before I left overseas, and the first day I wore one of them, I got the worst blister I think I've ever had. So they're always handy. If you're a woman, a handful of of makeup. I just have a bit of BB cream, some mascara, and a little bit of blush, and that's all I really travel with. A nail kit is usually quite useful as well, especially if you're going for a long time. So your nails grow, and I don't like to have really long nails. It's the netballer in me. I'm always wanting to keep my nails a bit short because I don't really know what to do with them when they're long. So having a nail kit is really useful. Just make sure you're packing those kinds of things in your checked luggage and not in your carry-on. And hair ties for the women as well. Did we have any other questions out there? If anyone wanted to ask me any other questions about, I don't know, where I am, places I've been, packing, anything else. Otherwise, I can just keep talking because those of you who know me, I'm pretty good at talking. Nope. Alright, well, I'll keep going. In terms of like the health part of it, I've got a couple of things that I really, I definitely enjoy traveling with, and I wouldn't want to travel without them. Okay, very good Wi-Fi now. That's really good because I struggled. Sorry, there was a comment that I'm having very good Wi-Fi. Because I struggled to get online actually at the start because apparently my connection wasn't strong enough. So I've had to turn things off and on again and do all that, but apparently it's working. Awesome! So a couple of things I travel with. I have my superfood greens by Food Matters, which you can actually find and buy on my website. So this is a greens powder. It's basically just a whole heap of amazing vitamins and nutrients all in one powder. So we've got wheatgrass, barley grass, alfalfa grass, spirulina, chlorella, and then a little bit of mesquite, vanilla, and cinnamon, just for flavour. It sounds, you know, like one of those raw vegan smoothie type ingredients, but seriously, I've been properly sick 0 times on this trip. I got food poisoning in Spain from eating some bad capers, but in terms of like colds and flus and stuff like that, haven't had a full-blown cold or flu at all since I've been over here, and I credit that to this. I just make sure I just have 1 teaspoon of this a day with some water and some lemon juice, and I shake it up in a shaker, and I have that, and I just feel like I'm getting, even if it's a day where I'm going to be out all day and I might have to buy food and I'm not sure the quality of the food, at least I'm knowing that I'm getting some really good nutrients at the start of the day. So that's one thing I travel with. I also love, whenever I can, because it is a little harder to find turmeric, went back again, awesome. It is a little bit harder to find turmeric or curcuma in fresh, that is, in Europe. So whenever I find it, I buy extra to take with me because it's a really awesome anti-inflammatory, and especially if you add a little bit of black pepper. So whether you're cooking with it, or I actually, to get the most out of it, I put it into a tea in the morning. So I let all the good nutrients go into the water and I drink the water. And ginger as well is really awesome. So for example, when I say I haven't been sick yet, I did wake up last weekend on Sunday morning with a really blocked up nasal passage. My throat was sore. I was sneezing left, right and centre, which for me, if I'm about to get a cold, that's what happens. First thing I did, got a pot on the stove because there's no kettle here. Got a pot on the stove, chucked in some turmeric, some ginger, some pu'er tea, fresh garlic. I know it sounds weird, but fresh garlic is an amazing antimicrobial. So it really, there's an extract in it called allicin, which many studies have shown have worked at even treating MRSA, which is methicillin resistant Streptococcus aureus in hospital, which is that terrible staph infection that you can get if you're in hospital occasionally. Anyway, so really awesome antimicrobial garlic is. So I chucked that in there, had that, kept having it all day, woke up Monday morning perfectly fine. So just little natural remedies and things like that, I think, have kept me going really well. Even if, you know, I am having gelato in Italy and you're not eating that great all the time, as much as I do try to stay really healthy as much as I can. When I'm in Italy, I definitely want to have some of the local tortelli from this region and try a pizza. And when I'm in France, I'm going to have croissants, of course. So just to make sure that I'm keeping up my vitamins and nutrients, there's those superfood greens and then just little home remedies to keep you really healthy. Activated charcoal is another thing I travel with. It helps with detoxification. When you consume it with a meal that you know is not so great for you. I'm trying to think. Another one is some probiotics. So I have a clinician prescribed probiotic that I travel with, and that is just really useful if anything does go wrong with it, just to have as you know, once every second day when I'm feeling fine and you're traveling through different countries with different water sources. But then if something does go wrong, you can up the dose a little bit to help things get back on track. So that's a probiotic. That's another thing I travel with, which is really useful in terms of snacking. Nuts, so cashews. So this is what I've got, my handbag here. That lives in my handbag. Just some cashews there. So if ever I need to have a snack, then there's always some cashews as well. This is really great. So just a simple little Tupperware container and found this in the supermarket over here. It's like one end's a spoon, one end's a fork, and then see the bit with the fork? It's actually got a little serrated bit on it, so it's like a knife. And so when I'm doing day trips, I can pack my own lunch, which is awesome. And also if I've got a day which is full of travel, like a long amount of travel in terms of, for example, when I went to Sweden, I left home at 7 o'clock in the morning and didn't get to Sweden until 9 o'clock at night. So I brought some lunch with me that day, and I had 2 flights and a stopover. So it's interesting when you are traveling. You can, when you're on a plane, people think you can't really bring food with you and you have to buy airport food and all this kind of stuff. The issue that most countries have, especially Australia, is bringing food into the country. So you can certainly, and every time I've flown, I've been able to take my own food with me onto a plane. I've packed salads, I've packed meat, I've put seafood in here. Like, I've packed nice, really delicious meals to take with me on the plane. So long as you eat it before you get there, totally fine. So yeah, that's probably one of the really handiest parts of bits that I've been traveling with is this one. Because I'm always making fun recipes and I always love to have these 2 tools with me, and only because I'm traveling for a long time. If I was just going for a short weekend trip, certainly wouldn't bring this with me, but I've got a little mini food processor which has a like a stick blender attachment to it. So, and because it's so small and I can pack like undies and stuff in here when I'm traveling, I travel with this because I still like to keep providing you guys with awesome recipes, and I find them really useful to yeah, just have in the kitchen, and not all kitchens have them. So it's one of my little travel bits and pieces. Did anyone else have any questions at all about anything Italy related, travel related? Where am I going next? Anything like that? Kelly loves these travel hack ideas. Yay, thanks, Kel. Awesome. Trying to think of other travel hacks. Oh, fitness related travel hacks. So when I left Australia, I had just had surgery on my spine, so I was not in any position to be doing any crazy workouts, and I'm now just starting to get back and yeah, thanks, Cal. I'll answer that one in a little bit. I'll finish this one first. I'm now starting to get into a bit more rehab with my back, and go to the gym when there is one, but certainly when there's not, I travel with a couple of really simple bits and pieces. So I've got one resistance band with handles and one without handles. I love this one for stretching, it's really good. And then one mobility ball, which is amazing for, like, if you ever get tight shoulders, like rubbing it in there against a wall, amazing. Also with your glutes, so good. And so that just allows me to kind of have some kind of resistance training, especially with my rehab as well, even if, you know, whether I don't want to have to pay for a gym or whether there isn't one around. It just allows me to do that. Definitely, in terms of fitness, traveling and walking, like, it's the best thing you can do. As soon as I get to a new city, I don't even bother with buses or trains. It's just walk, walk, walk. It's the best way to see a city. It's the best way to, I mean, if you're stuck in a tube or a tunnel or a bus, you only get to see the main roads, or in the subway, like, just blackness. But when you walk, you get to find all the cool little alleyways and the cute little bars where you randomly meet the security detail of the French president and things like that. So walking around and exploring is the best way, and it really helps with staying active and fit. Kelly has asked about how I manage with study and travel. So I guess for me it's handy in the sense that I'm not working full time and I'm not studying full time either. I'm only doing 2 subjects. So it's not like I'm doing a full time load and trying to travel at the same time. It's just about kind of switching on and switching off, and I have quite a detailed itinerary in where I know in that I have a kind of a list of all the dates, where I'm going to be, when and for what periods. But as another column, I also have the assessment that's due on those days. So, for example, as soon as the semester starts and I know what assessment items I've got and when they are, I put those in that itinerary. So I know when they are, and then when I'm planning travel, I try not to plan travel on days that I have to do a quiz or days that I have to submit assignments. And that, for example, after Italy, I'm going to Cyprus, and then I'm going to be going to Dijon, or near Dijon in France. That trip from Cyprus to Dijon, it was going to happen around about a time when I had two quizzes and an assignment due, I think. So I actually asked the lady in Cyprus if I could stay a little bit longer so I could complete those before I went to Dijon. So just little things like that, being aware and planning is really useful. Depending on the type of travel you're doing, it can be different. But for me, I knew I was going to be studying and traveling, so I knew that when I went to each place, I would need at least a couple of weeks, so 1 to 2 weeks in each location, and that's especially during the semester. In between semester, when it's holidays, it's not such a big deal. But during semester, I would need at least 2 weeks in each location to be able to, firstly, really enjoy the location, be able to see all the things I wanted to see and do the things I wanted to do, but also not sacrifice on my study. So being in Parma for 2 weeks allows me to do kind of 1 day of study followed by 1 day of sightseeing, or 2 days, or whatever it ends up being. And so that's another careful piece of planning that I've done with my travel in order to be able to complete my studies as well as travel and see the world. A few comments I've had along the way about, how do you stay motivated to study when, you're in such a beautiful country and you want to see it and all that kind of stuff. It's about the mindset. I think when I left Australia, I knew that this was not going to be just travel. This was study travel. So I kind of call it like a working holiday, but a study holiday. So it's not just about being here and seeing everything. It's about doing the study as well. You need to also plan with regards to, because it's online study, what I'm doing, the master's degree is all online, so you do need to make sure that your accommodation does have the right internet access that you need. So yeah, you're just always checking. If you're staying in Airbnb locations, you just need to always check with the owner of the place where you're staying. You also, for me, I'm doing a lot of house sitting, which is where people have gone on holidays and they've got pets or just a house or a garden that they need taken care of, and I'm staying there. So when I do that, before I accept a house sit offer, I just make sure that they do have high-speed internet so that I need to be able to watch videos and upload assignments speedily. So it's just about a bit of planning, really. Any other questions? No? Cool. All right. Well, in terms of, I can talk a little bit more about packing and then maybe wrap it up. So yeah, and that's the other thing with study, you need to make sure you've got everything you need with you. a good thing I do is with the subjects I'm about to do for that semester is see what textbook I need for them, because especially with my uni, with Deakin Uni, they have a really amazing online library. So I check online that I can access the relevant reference texts via their library, and I add that to my collections with my account there. So that's another thing I do. I think with study as well, it's a little bit about planning the subjects you're taking. So for me, travelling, and the great thing about Deakin Uni is that you can take, if I'm taking a subject that has a final exam, probably about half do and half don't. If I'm taking a subject that has a final exam, I can take it in Paris or London. They have locations all around the world or all over Australia. So that's no problem, but maybe you don't want to have to do that and be in Paris on those certain days. So maybe it's just a little bit about looking for the subjects that you need to do that, and do them that don't have any final exam, that only have assignment submissions or online quizzes. So that's, I guess that's a bit more about study. And then in terms of the packing, yeah, just make sure you've got everything you need. Obviously you need, when you're travelling in planes and on trains between countries, make sure you've got all your travel documents on hand, like your passport and your ticket. Things that you might get asked for frequently is, like, everywhere in the airport they're going to ask you for your passport and your boarding pass, so just have them really easily accessible. If you're, depending where you're going, how long you're going for, you might want to bring laptop, tablet, phone, all those relevant chargers. An all-in-one adapter is useful, to charge everything. I also have like a little, it's not a pocket knife, but it's got all Allen keys on it. I can't think where it is right now, but was really useful in the Netherlands when I had to change the height seat of my bike that I was using, of all the different families there. So things like that are quite useful. Camera. If you decide not to just use the camera on your phone, then having a camera is another one. Neck pillows, a day bag. So I have this really cool one that I was given as a gift, which is a pack safe bag. That's this one. So it just goes over my shoulder, and it has these really awesome features. So it's like impossible to cut this. So if someone wanted to cut the strap, it's like not possible. It's made of some material that just won't let it cut. But then also the zippers that do up here, I don't know if you can see this, but I can actually hook them into here on the end, so that even if people try and open the zipper, they won't be able to, because it'll be hooked up at the end. So it's just a cool travel pack safe bag. Most important thing, water bottle. Stay hydrated. I can't believe I forgot that. It's right here. My gosh, traveling in planes is so dehydrating. So make sure you have heaps of water. You can't take this amount of liquid through security in airports, but just pour the water out, bring the bottle with you and fill it up on the other side, and take water with you. Like, I cannot stress enough to just keep drinking. Really important. So that's I guess another thing. Sunglasses, umbrella maybe, depending where you're going, how long you're going for. And what else do I have here? A few other little tips. So print or save a copy of all your travel documents and your travel insurance policy onto your computer or smartphone, tablet device, whatever. Maybe even print one if you want to, It's really useful just in case anything goes wrong. And do the same for a copy of your passport and your driver's license. This is really, and have it like saved on your laptop or your smart device or your smartphone, because it's really useful, especially when booking car hire, because they often ask for a copy of your passport and driver's license. So if you have it on hand, you can just like email it to them straight away, no problems. Another thing would be with, I forget where my train of thought was going. Oh yeah, memorize your passport number and expiry date, because when you're going in between lots of countries, I don't know if you've travelled recently or not, but you quite often have to fill out landing cards, which basically the country you're going to just asks who you are, what your passport number is, and what your intention of your stay is, and how long you'll be there. So just memorize that, because it just saves you pulling it out all the time. And then if you're looking at hiring a car, it's really in Europe. When I first thought about going over to Europe, I thought, oh, it'd be easy, I can just hire a car in Spain and deliver it back to Holland. You can, but it costs you like $2,000 or $3,000 more. So and for going one way as well. So the returning in another country and going one way just is exponentially more expensive. So that's one tip. If you're hiring it in the same country and returning it to the same town, it's definitely very affordable. But that's just one thing I learned. It's almost impossible to hire cars. You can hire cars and pick up from one country, deliver to another. It's very expensive. With these old towns here in Italy, Spain, France, they often have like a really little town centre, which back in the Middle Ages, when they didn't have cars, had really narrow streets that people only really walked on. So if you're booking accommodation in that area and you've got a hire car, just keep that in mind, because you'll have to find parking possibly even like 1 kilometre or 2 kilometres away from wherever you're staying. So either train to the city and don't drive, or find accommodation that's just outside of the city centre. They're so small anyway, you can walk really easily to them. That was one thing I learned when I went to Barcelona and to a bunch of cities in Spain. We had a hire car, and all our accommodation was in the city centres, and we had to find and spend a lot of money to pay for underground parking outside of the city centres. So that's one hack. Alright, I think I might wrap it up there. Did anyone else have anything else they wanted to ask or talk about, or travel, or yeah, whether it's study or travel or anything related, health related, whatever? Nope, I can't see anything coming up, so I think what I'll do is I will call it a day and say thanks to everyone who tuned in, and I hope you enjoyed, and I'll do this again sometime soon. Let me know if you have enjoyed it, and if you have, what would you like to see more of? What else can I do, what else can I talk about that would be interesting to you? Would you like me to go live on some of my cooking adventures, or anything else? So yeah, I'd love to hear your feedback on this go live today, first official planned go live. And yeah, alright, well, have a wonderful Sunday evening. I hope you all sleep well. I've still got the whole afternoon here in Parma to enjoy. I'm probably going to do some study because I've got an assignment due this week. And I will talk to you all later. Ciao!